collapsed on bus. The marathon man of English football, Brian Talbot, gave everything to the game. But what happened after the final whistle tells a far sadder story. Picture this. May 1980, Wembley Stadium. Arsenal have just lost the FA Cup final to West Ham. As the team coach pulls away from the stadium, one player collapses from pure exhaustion. That player was Brian Talbot. He was rushed to hospital and connected to a heart monitor. Just 4 days later, he played 120 minutes in another final and scored a penalty. This is the story of a man who literally gave his body to football. Brian Ernest Talbot was born on July 21, 1953, in Ipswich, England. From the start, he was different. His body was built like a machine. His resting heart rate was 39 beats per minute. That is the same as a marathon runner. The walls of his heart were thicker than normal people. He was designed to run forever. Talbot started his football journey as an apprentice at Ipswich Town in 1968. He was just 15 years old. The club sent him on loan to Canada twice. In 1971 and 1972, he played for Toronto Metros in the North American Soccer League. He made 10 appearances each season and scored 2 goals each time. In 1972, Talbot turned professional with Ipswich Town. He became a key player in their midfield. His job was simple but vital. Run box to box for 90 minutes. Never stop, never give up. Over 8 years at Ipswich, he played 177 league games and scored 25 goals. The 1978 FA Cup semi-final against West Bromwich Albion showed exactly what kind of player Talbot was. After just 7 minutes, he scored the opening goal. But as he celebrated, he collided head-first with the opposing captain, John Weil. Blood poured from a cut above his eye. He needed 3 stitches and had to leave the match. But his goal helped Ipswich reach the final. They won the cup that year. This incident perfectly captured Brian Talbot. He was willing to sacrifice his body for the team. Pain was temporary. Victory was forever. His courage and tireless work became legendary. In 1977, he was named in the First Division PFA Team of the Year. In 1979, Arsenal came calling. Talbot moved to North London and made an immediate impact. Arsenal won the FA Cup in his first season. This made Talbot the first player in over 100 years to win the FA Cup in back-to-back seasons with different clubs, a record that still stands today. But it was the 1979-80 season that truly showed Talbot's superhuman abilities. Arsenal had a marathon campaign. They reached both the FA Cup final and the European Cup Winners' Cup final. Talbot played in every single match, all 70 games. He was literally ever present. The physical demands were crushing. After losing the FA Cup final to West Ham, Talbot collapsed on the team coach. His body had finally given up. He was taken to hospital and connected to a heart monitor. Doctors were worried about his heart. He missed the post-match reception because he was too ill to attend. 4 days later, Arsenal faced Valencia in the European Cup Winners' Cup final. Any normal person would still be in hospital, not Brian Talbot. He played the full 120 minutes. The match went to penalties. Talbot stepped up and scored his penalty. Arsenal lost the shootout, but Talbot had shown incredible mental strength. Years later, Talbot said the collapse might have been caused by heat, disappointment, or dehydration. He played it down. But the truth was clear. He had pushed his body beyond its limits. His teammates called him the marathon man. His box-to-box running gave creative players like Liam Brady and Graham Rix the freedom to play. Talbot did the dirty work so others could shine. During his 6 years at Arsenal, Talbot made 254 appearances and scored 40 goals. He missed only a handful of matches. His stamina was his superpower. While other players needed rest, Talbot just kept running. But even marathon men get old. In 1985, aged 32, Talbot left Arsenal. He joined Watford for 1 season, then Stoke City for 2 years. His body was slowing down, but his brain was still sharp. In 1988, Talbot joined West Bromwich Albion as player-manager. This was his chance to use his football knowledge from the dugout. At first, things looked promising. The team competed for promotion. But football management is cruel. A late season collapse in 1989 saw them miss the playoffs. The next season was worse. They barely avoided relegation. In 1991, West Brom suffered a shocking FA Cup defeat to non-league Woking. The scoreline was 4-2. It was embarrassing. Talbot was sacked shortly after. The club was relegated to the third division that same season. Next came Aldershot, a fourth division club in serious financial trouble. Talbot took the player-manager role in 1991. The club was falling apart. Poor results on the pitch matched the chaos off it. The club had big ambitions and serious money. They spent a record £180,000 on Justin Jackson, the highest transfer fee between non-league clubs at the time. Under Talbot's guidance, Rushden and Diamonds won the Football Conference in 2001. They were promoted to the Football League for the first time. 2 years later, they won the third division title. Talbot's record was impressive: 3 wins, 88 draws and 90 losses from 341 games, a win rate of nearly 48%. In March 2004, Talbot left Rushden to manage Oldham Athletic. He kept them in Division 2 and even guided them to a famous FA Cup victory over Premier League Manchester City. But a 7-match losing streak ended his time there. His final management job in England was at Oxford United. He joined in May 2005, but lasted less than a year. The team struggled in League Two, and Talbot was dismissed in March 2006. But Malta called once more. Between 2006 and 2008, Talbot managed Marsaxlokk. He guided them to another domestic league title and a place in the Champions League. In February 2017, Fulham promoted him to Chief Scout and Assistant Director of Football Operations. Today, Brian Talbot is still at Fulham. He is 72 years old. The man who once collapsed from exhaustion now works quietly behind the scenes. He watches matches, studies players, and provides reports. His marathon running days are over, but his football brain is still active. During his international career, Talbot won 6 caps for England between 1977 and 1980. He also played 8 times for England B, scoring 3 goals. From 1984 to 1988, he served as chairman of the Professional Footballers Association. This role showed the respect other players had for him. Looking back at Brian Talbot's career, the numbers tell only part of the story. As a player, he made 621 appearances and scored 89 goals. As a manager, his overall record was 227 wins, 157 draws, and 170 losses from 554 games. But statistics cannot capture his true impact. Talbot was inducted into the Ipswich Town Hall of Fame in 2013. This recognition came 34 years after he left the club. It proved that his contribution had not been forgotten. The tragedy of Brian Talbot is not that his career ended badly. The tragedy is that a man who gave everything to football now lives in the shadows. He was once the heartbeat of great teams. Fans chanted his name. Teammates relied on his energy. Now he sits in empty stadiums, taking notes on players who will never know his name. His story represents thousands of former footballers. They dedicated their lives to the game. They sacrificed their bodies for our entertainment. But when the cheering stops, many are forgotten. They become ghosts of their former selves. Brian Talbot's resting heart rate of 39 beats per minute made him superhuman on the pitch. But hearts that beat so slowly often struggle with the silence that follows retirement. The man who never stopped running eventually had to stop. The marathon was over. From a collapsed bus ride to the heart of Fulham's scouting team, Brian Talbot's journey is proof that greatness is not always glamorous. If you learned something new today, like the video and subscribe for more icons you have forgotten to remember.